Hi, this is Scott with eTrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at our Westin R5 Running Boards for our 2024 Ford Explorer. Westin makes a wide variety of running boards for vehicles, and our Ford Explorer here, it's not really low, it's not really tall, it's kind of in between for an SUV. These running boards really accent the trim level of this one, really nice. Running boards like this are going to be good for good footing for when, say, you want to get something off the top of your rack here, or even just getting in and out. It's going to give you a little more footing and easier to get in and out of the vehicle. What these boards are going to do is it's going to make it a little bit easier to get in and out of your vehicle. It's really nice, gives you good footing to get in, has a little bit of a textured finish on there. It just makes it a lot easier to get in and out of the vehicle. Has a really good look. The trim on this one really matches well with it, I noticed when we installed it. You could tell how really good the stainless look matches with the chrome. And as far as the trim, I really liked how this plasticky color here on the footsteps really matched the color of the trim across here. And the nice thing about it too is your mounts, you're not going to really see your brackets at all. These little covers cover that up, and this kind of adds to the style a little bit. Also noticed too is when we were putting them on, we did notice how nice they do line up with our fender wells here with our trim. If it just goes along real good, and it lines up real nice and sits real nice and level. Also back here in the back, we did notice how nice it lines up here in the back too. We were kind of surprised on how good it fit. As far as installation goes for these running boards, it's really not super complicated. Once you open up the box and you see everything in there, once you get the hardware bag, it may be a little daunting, but once you get everything divvied up and separate out where everything is going to go, it's not too bad. If it's something you want to tackle at home, we can show you how to get it put together with all the hardware and get everything all separated out. So stick around and watch the video. To start our installation of our running boards, we are going to have a few things to start off here, and we're going to have these little clips, and these will go in little pocket areas of our underbody there. And what they're going to do is they're just going to pop in the sheet metal. It's going to go in a square section, and then this part's going to go back into a spot where there's a hole, and that's going to be a place for us to put our bolt. And these little guys here are flange nuts, and these are going to go up into a pocket behind a piece of our metal flange and our plastic there, and we'll show you how that goes in. We have our bracket here, and we have this one in already. We have it up finger tight. Now we have this, our bigger bolt, and we have our washer and our lock nut on there, and we're just going to start it up into the location where we have our nut wedged into that space there. And just want to start it, bring it down as far as you can, finger tight. We're going to come back later and tighten these all up. As far as our passenger side goes, we're just going to pop our clip in here, and we're going to line it up with the hole here, and just want to get it sitting in there where it's lined up with the hole. And on our passenger side is going to be different than our driver's side. Since we're doing this on the passenger side of this one, our nut will go on the forward location here. And that's just because our brackets are all the same shape and everything, so they'll just be the same for each side, but it's just where the hole lines up different, so it'll be flipped. So on the passenger side, we're going to put the nut in the forward location in between this piece of plastic here and this little flange that hangs down. You just kind of want to get that nut in there, and the plastic should hold it in there for you. And just kind of center it up with your pinky, and that'll get it held in place for you. On the driver's side, you're going to want to use these back rearmost holes here. So it's just kind of flip-flop. It's just you're using the same brackets, so they're the same shape, and they're just not really side specific. It's just where the bolt will go that's different on each side. Now we'll just get all our brackets in place here. We've got 6 of them to put up, so we're just going to start with the clip ones here first and get that run up. And we'll get our bigger bolt in, and we're going to do this to all 6 of them. driver and passenger side. I'll get all of these on and we'll move on to our next step. We leave all of our mounts loose, so we just kind of have them finger tight. On down the line here, we will be tightening everything back up. We have our little cover here, and that's going to go onto our bracket, and it's basically what it's going to do is it's going to go on here, and it's going to cover up the space in between our bracket and our running board that comes out here. At this point, it does look angled, so don't let that bother you. That's kind of like how it's designed to be. And what you're going to do is you have 2 holes here on our bracket, and we have 2 holes here that have to line up on our thing. You do have 3 different holes, but we're just going to use the 2. And you're just going to kind of swing it in and get the one lower side, the smaller side of our piece to go over. This can be a little tricky. Just stay with it and you'll get it there. These little tabs are going to be flexible on this cover. It's pretty much just going to be a decorative thing. It's nothing there for strength. So if you have to kind of wrestle it to get it over your mount, go ahead and do that. Now you just got to decide how you want to get it to mount on here. So now we have a spot up here on the top where I can get the bolt through. And got that one to go through. Okay, now just get your other one through here. Just kind of kick it up. And it can be tricky to get it to go. There we go. And we have those 2 on. Now we'll come back with our flat washer and our nylock nut, and we'll just get them started on loosely. Everything on our assembly process so far, we are just kind of assembling loose, and we'll get everything adjusted and back in shape where we want it to be as soon as we start tightening everything up. So basically just doing a loose assembly process right now. We'll get to on there on that one. It can be a little confusing trying to figure out how to get these little plastic caps figured out. But once you get one side figured out and you get one on each side figured out, it'll go along pretty quick for you. Now we have 3 little plates. Our running boards are side specific. So if you look at the top of it, you can see how your foot pad goes further to the back of the running board there, and you have more of your chrome area to the front. So this one will go on the passenger side. Now that we've flipped this over, you can see that we do have these plates. And what these plates are going to do is they're just going to go in the slot here, and they're going to turn, and they're going to sit in this little rail like that, and that's going to allow you to slide it to match up with where your brackets are there. All we're going to do is flip that back over and get all 3 of those in. And then we're going to set our brackets into place here and line up. You probably will want 2 sets of hands to do this part because it can be a little tricky to get them all lined up without making them pop out. Once you've got them all lined up, you can just set it down. Now at this point, it's going to allow you to slide your bracket or your running board where you want it. Up underneath, you're going to have these cross supports. You're going to want to have your front one in the front. You're going to have your middle one back here. You're going to want the middle bracket just behind that one. And then you're going to have another support bracket back here. You're going to want your last one back here to the rear of the vehicle behind that one. What that's going to do is that's going to allow you to slide your running board where you want to line it up. So what we're doing with this one today is we are going to line the end up right with this right here. And when we get that one lined up nice and flush with that, that lines us up in the rear also. So we're flush here, and it gets us flush in the rear. Now we're just going to take a flat washer, our split lock washer, and a nut. And we're just going to get them threaded up finger tight just to hold it in place. And we're going to do that on the rear here as well. Flat washer, split lock washer, and a nut. All right. Now we're going to do that to the rest of them on down, and then we'll start tightening everything up. Now we'll go ahead and snug everything down. What we'll do is we'll start out with the ones that mount our brackets up to the under body panels there. We'll go ahead and get them snug down, and then we'll go on and we'll tighten up our board and get that all set where we want it, and that way we're still lined up. And then we'll go back through and we'll snug down our little cap covers here that cover our brackets. And then after all that, we'll go back around through and we'll get everything torqued down to spec. Easiest way to do these is go ahead and start with your 16 millimeter here and run that one up. And then we're going to use our extension with our 13 millimeter on it, and then we'll run those up to here. And that's going to line everything up where we want it, and we'll just do that on down the line here. All right, now that we have our brackets all tightened up and just kind of snug for now, we're going to come back after a while and we're going to get them down to torque. Now we just want to make sure that our board didn't move anywhere. So we're still lined up in the front and we're lined up in the rear with our fender wells how we want it. Now we're just going to go ahead and take an extension with our 13 millimeter socket, and we're going to start on our center one, and we're just going to snug it down, because what that's going to do is going to keep our board from moving back and forth, and then we can just go along and snug them all down. Just nice and snug, don't have to get too tight with them. All right, with our caps here that cover up our brackets, what we're going to do is we've got those all threaded in there. What you want to do is just kind of give them a look and maybe push them into place how you want them. Just make sure they're good and straight and they look good to you. Up under there, there's going to be your 10 millimeter bolt, and then you have your 10 millimeter lock nut with 2 washers on it. The easiest way to get at them that I've found is a 10 millimeter gear wrench and a 10 millimeter normal wrench, and just get in there and just go like that. It's going to be tied up in there, and you don't have a lot of space for a ratchet or anything like that, and so this is the best way that I've found to do it. Now with these, you are tightening it down onto plastic with metal washers, so you just want to get them snug. You don't have to crank them down really tight because you don't want to really blow out the plastic. You just kind of want to get them good and snug. They're really not a structural thing, they're more of a cosmetic thing, so they don't have to be really tight as far as the little covers go. Now with all of our hardware all snugged up, what we're going to do is we're going to go around with our torque wrench, and you're going to just tighten them up to your manufacturer's specifications in your manual. We were really impressed with the way these turned out after we got them installed, just the way they look with the vehicle and everything. Now say you have a different trim level, maybe something that you want to go with a flat black. The Westin does have different styles and different colors that you can choose from. Just go ahead and look at on our website and see what type of different systems they have for you. Other than that, I appreciate you watching the video. This is Scott with eTrailer, and thanks for watching.